I was just gonna ask Mr. Trino a question about the Yankees, but
Oh, boy.
Okay, Mrs. Carmody, I just hit record. Mrs. Blanchard, we are live and it is now your meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. We will begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Colleen, do you have the flag?
Yes, I do.
And if I could have all of us stand for the pledge and the students do the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance
pledge
to
allegiance
the
to
flag,
the flag,
To the
United
United
States
States
the
of
United
America,
States of America,
to the republic,
to the republic for which it
Stands
stands,
one
nation,
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 under
under
God,
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 visible,
civil,
liberty,
liberty, and justice for all.
Thank you all very much. Tonight, as we begin our meeting, Mrs. Clark, we have the appointment of our
Yes, we,
Assistant Superintendent of Schools. Would you please read the
It would-
motion?
it would be my pleasure, Mrs. Carmody.
Thank
I
you.
would like to move to approve Mr. Frank Pepe as Assistant Superintendent of Southington Public Schools effective July 1st, 2021 at a salary of $185,000.
Second,
Mrs. Blanchard, would you please do a roll call on that vote for me?
Harry.
Linda, you're muted. Yep.
Linda?
I was having a hard time unmuting it. For some reason, it won't do it for me. Okay, great. Mr. Bashevsky,
Yes, and congratulations, Frank.
Mr. Brown,
Enthusiastically, yes.
Mr. Sharzanowski,
Frank, very happy to get you on board as superintendent. That's a yes.
Mrs. Cipriano,
Big yes, welcome, Frank. Very happy to have you.
Mrs. Clark,
It would be my pleasure to say yes.
Mr. Darrenowski,
Yes, and congratulations, Frank, and good luck.
Mr. Oshana,
Congratulations, Mr. Pepe. Yes.
Mrs. Carmody,
Yes, and congratulations, Frank. Glad to have you join this wonderful team and continue the work that you have done in Southington for the last 16 years. It was unanimous vote, and we all feel very confident that we will continue to see the vision of our Southington graduate, the continuation of our academic excellence under your leadership with Steve. So congratulations. We are very proud to have you join us.
yay, Frank.
Hey, Frank. I don't know if I have any other members that, not members, but audience members or members of the board that have any other comments they'd like to make before Mr. Pepe says a few words. Anyone?
If someone wishes to speak, just drop something in the chat box and I will unmute you. And Mr. Pepe, I'll go ahead and unmute you as well.
Thank you, Mr. Medancy. Oh, Mr.
start.
Donna had his hand.
I'll start. Frank, Mr. Pepe, congratulations. I think, your focus on the vision of the graduate, your focus on the students, both being career and college ready, ready for those next steps in their lives, your commitment to the district, your involvement at multiple levels in the district, and your hard work and efforts are truly something that this district is lucky to have. I wish you and Mr. Medancy great success moving forward. You have big shoes to follow in Mr. Medancy, as he does in Mr. Kennellan. So I think our district is in some very good hands moving forward. Congratulations, Frank.
Thank you.
Mrs. Clark?
Mr. Pepe, congratulations. I have been thinking of what I said to Mr. Medancy the night he was named superintendent, and I'm going to say the same thing to you. You get your energy from children, your concern, your care, your worry about them is obvious in everything you do. And what I would like to see is for you to be in the schools, because I want to see you get recharged. When you see children, you get recharged, just as Mr. Medancy does. So that is my prescription for you as you start this new endeavor. And I'm thinking that I'm going to call you to the long and the short. So the long and the short of it all, get into the schools and enjoy. Congratulations, Frank.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Bob Brown, go ahead.
Yes, congratulations again, Frank. I think the biggest thing that always sticks out to me about you, which has impressed me from the day I first met you, is how you put students first. And for all the stuff we go through and all the other stuff and the politics and the budgets and everything else, I applaud you for that. And I know you will continue to do that. And that is what we're all here for. I do know there's a bunch of high school teachers who are probably pretty upset right now. And the fact that you cared so much about them to mention that to us really meant a lot. It showed how much, what a special educator you are. And I know you'll continue to work with them and help them, but in a role that now can be broadened to help the entire school district. And I do think also that your familiarity with our district is a huge plus for all of us, especially with the new superintendent now, and other changes, that your familiarity with how we do things is a huge asset. So congratulations, Frank, and great choice.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Anyone else? I would also like to compliment you, Frank, on the work that you've done during this pandemic, working with all the administrators. Just such difficult time, Frank, for all of us. And you did it with such grace and understanding. I'm also very, very proud of the way that you have academically joined our different departments so that we can have continuity in our instruction from grades 6 through 12. I've seen it being on curriculum, and your ideas have been wonderful. And I know that's going to continue because I've seen it in the curriculum for the last 14 years. So I thank you. I'm really thrilled to have you as our new assistant superintendent. So good luck, Frank. Is your family with you this evening, Mr. Pepe?
I do have some family with me, yes, and I'll just span a little bit. There's Janet.
Hi, Janet.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, Janet. Everyone knows that that Janet runs a show. So
Good for you, Janet. That's the way.
yeah,
Except for
girl.
computers.
yeah. Yeah, we all joke because Janet is 5'2" and I'm 6'5", and it makes absolutely no difference. We've got Biagio, who wanted to know if he needed to get dressed up, and so there he is, and all his.
You look very handsome.
Class.
Good for you.
Class.
Really nice.
Very professional. Good move.
Yeah, we got Lorenzo.
Hello.
Hi, Lorenzo.
He's my senior. Sebastian is at Hofstra right now. I also have some very special guests along with us, because anytime there is the chance of a celebration, it means that there is an accompanied meal. So my in-laws are here because there's nothing like in-law cooking. And I have my sister-in-law, Kimberly, there, say hi, Kim.
Hi, Kimberly. How are you, Kimberly?
Yeah.
Hello.
Kimberly is the most proud of me. So of everyone, that's it. That's all that matters, right? Right?
Tell us, what did they cook for you tonight, Frank? Because I'm starving.
So the joke of it all was, I was trying to prepare some thoughts for this evening. So everyone stayed downstairs and ate. I have no idea what was for dinner. It smells really good, and I hope there's something left.
Okay, I'm sure they did. Well,
Yeah.
great meeting all of you, and congratulations to the family of Frank Pepe. And I'm sure that Mr. Pepe might have a few words that he wants to say to us.
I have a few thoughts, very brief. We've heard that time, meeting, opportunity possesses incredible potential. My belief is that luck is a factor in this potential. And some people consider luck as a form of wealth. If that's the case, I think tonight I hit the jackpot. Not only am I lucky because my family serves as an incredible support system, even though they ate without me, my luck also spans far into my professional world. And as I arrived into Southington some 15 years ago, I've learned from absolutely everyone I've come into contact with. I've been surrounded by talented, creative, passionate, and dedicated staff, students as well, and administrators. And I've been lucky enough for my thinking to be pushed by all of them. Earning the trust of the Board of Education, our current superintendent, our incoming superintendent, fills me with this sense of luck, but also serves me with an incredible sense of pride. I'm humbled by this opportunity, and I vow to make you all proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Very nice. Congratulations and welcome. Okay, moving on. Our next order of business tonight is the celebration of excellence for the food service. I don't know who's handling that. Tim, is it Tim?
It is, Sherry will handle that for us, Mrs. Danello.
And I don't see Sherry. Is she there?
I'm here. I'm going to kick it off, and then I'm going to invite Naya Walensky, our food service director, to say a few words. But we have regularly been updating the Board of Education on some of the financial struggles of the food service program over the past year. But tonight, we want to shift gears and acknowledge and celebrate the staff in our food service program. The board has regularly mentioned the challenges that our teachers have had during the pandemic, trying to teach remote learners as well as their students attending school. And we thought it was important to also share how hard our food service staff have stepped up to the challenge as well. First, I'd like to acknowledge the director of the program, Naya Walensky. When our schools closed on March 13th of 2020, we all thought the initial closure was going to be a temporary 2-week pause and things would go back to normal. It would have been easy to sit back and wait until we reopened, but we had an immediate concern about how we would be able to provide meals to students. I contacted Naya and asked how soon would we be ready to set up a remote grab-and-go meal program, and her response was, well, today's Friday the 13th and we're closing, but we can be ready Monday. Let me just reach out and see who's willing to work. The program didn't go one day without offering meals to families. Naya coordinated staff coverage when people had a real fear of leaving their homes and being exposed to COVID. She shifted the menu, ordered packaging materials, and was on the front line to make this happen. In addition, coordinating meals in school when the new year started was a challenge. Multiple serving locations, added lunch waves, shifting staff when schools were closed, and finding coverage were all done and done really well. She then set up and staffed our evening remote meal program. Naya, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I know how much the community appreciates how you've stepped up. Next, I want to give a shout out to our managers and food service technicians in the program. Many were willing to work in the spring during the height of the pandemic in our grab and go program. Everyone's been so flexible as we've had to shift staff around with school closures and staff shortages. They know how important it is for our students to have nutritious options, and they really worked hard to make sure we safely package and serve meals to our students, so thank you. Lastly, before turning it over to Naya, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the work of the office staff between Marcia and Marina. They too stepped up with our added workload of ordering packaging materials, payroll calcs for the added hours of staff, and Marcia was coming into the office when many of our staff were still working at home to make sure payroll was run. We appreciate both of you. This time I'd like to turn it over to Naya so she can highlight some of the workers that worked in our that have been working in our remote grab and go program in the evenings.
Thank you. Thank you for recognizing the food service department. I know that every department faced many challenges last year and this year. I would like to say thank you to the entire food service team for their adaptability, to all the new safety protocols and their teamwork effort that was shown. It was unbelievable, the quick turnaround. This school year, we were still able to continue remote meal handout at DePalo Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. In the course of an hour, the food service staff hands out approximately 500 to 2,000 meals per night. Since the first day of school through March 31st, we have handed out 79,762 free meals to the community for students. It's not an easy task. They've worked through the entire winter and the meals are handed out outside so that they're contactless. I would like to thank the staff for giving up their evenings to carry on this important meal distribution. And I'm going to start with the people that are actually packing the meals. So that would be Teresa Benvenuto, Southington High School manager, and Pat Levensaler, the assistant manager. Moving on to the 7 main staff members that gave up their evenings to hand out meals to the community. We have Beverly Downs, the food service manager at Kennedy, Michelle Goodenough, Donna Sweezy, and Janice Lowry, all food technicians from Kennedy. We also have Lisa Romanelli and Blanca Soto, Daranowski food service technicians. And we have a couple alternates, Sally Cantone, Thalberg food service manager, and Jennifer Christian, South End technician. I would like to thank this staff for really carrying on the important meal distribution for the community. You can see by the amount of meals that we've handed out so far that there really is still a need. I'm amazed by everyone, the way that we've all come together and tweaked everything and made it work. So it's just a huge thank you to the staff. It means a lot to me, the teamwork effort. So thank you for recognizing us tonight.
Naya, please give our sincere thanks for all that your staff has done. Obviously during unprecedented times, and to be able to put out all of those meals to all of those people that needed them, it's remarkable. So please make certain that you express our sincere thanks to everyone that was mentioned tonight. We really appreciate all that you have done. I don't know if any other board members have anything they'd like to say, but from my heart, I thank you very, very much. Anyone else have anything to say? In keeping with, does not completely follow the agenda, but I guess I'm allowed to do this. I don't know. I have another little celebration that I would like to do this evening, and that is for Jaleesa Vincent. Are you there, my dear? Would you want mute?
I am.
Okay. Is that a big smile I see on your face?
It is.
Well, I was told today that you were recently accepted into the All-State Choir after completing 2 virtual auditions. Jaleesa will represent Southington at the virtual All-State Conference this weekend, where she will be singing soprano with the All-State Choir. Do you know how proud we are? Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
We're so proud of you. And your teacher could not wait to share that with us. I want to share that
Thank you.
tonight. So please let us know how you do.
Definitely.
Please, I'd help you, but my singing voice really isn't that good. And I would give you some hints, but they wouldn't be that good, but good luck. So let us know how you do, okay?
All right. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank you, everyone.
You're so welcome. We wish you the best. Continuing on, we need to have a motion to approve the minutes of our March 25th meeting.
So
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next is communication from the public. And if there is anyone that is on the phone right now that would like to be unmuted and speak, we would recognize you. I don't know if Mrs. Clark received any communications.
No, I haven't. I'm just looking now and I haven't received any.
Okay, anyone that's on is certainly welcome to, do I hear something? No? No. Steve, you have none, right? No communications?
I'm monitoring the chat box and no one has asked to be unmuted.
Okay, fine. Communication from the Board of Education. Mr. Oshana?
Thank you. I just wanted to commend and thank Mr. Kennellan and the administration for the work they did in coordinating an opportunity for our students age 16 and older to sign up and get vaccinated against COVID-19. It looks like the results of the survey that was sent out, gauging interest, had an overwhelmingly positive response from the families, with what looked like over 600 students showing interest. And in fact, if I heard correctly the other night, we're going to be having over 80% participation of those students that are eligible to take part, which is just absolutely fantastic. Excuse me, the vaccine is going to be given through Hartford Healthcare at the Oakdale starting tomorrow, which is just amazing. It's a quick turnaround. That's just fantastic. And information on how to participate was sent out to all of the Sunnyton High School families. It's fantastic news for our eligible students and their family. It's a voluntary option, and it's going to help our district and our families, our students, and the town and our state help beat this virus once and for all, thank goodness. It's also going to hopefully give our students an opportunity to have a more normal senior year and enjoy their senior activities. So thanks to the administration, and a real special thank you to Michelle Passamano, who, as I understand it, worked tirelessly to, and relentlessly is the word I heard, to pursue this for our families so that this program can get up and running. So thank you very much.
I agree. That's really wonderful. Thank you so very much. Yes, Missy.
Hi, Mrs. Carmody.
Your
Thank
hand?
you. Yeah, so I wanted to go back a little bit. You probably didn't see my hand before. It's okay. To talk to Naya
I'm
and the
sorry.
food service staff. It's okay. The food service staff. And I want to say personally, thank you. You know, one of the second biggest things to my heart is food insecurity. You know, I work with that daily, and Naya, I do know how hard your entire staff worked, and acknowledging that is just a small part of what I know here at Bread for Life that you guys personally did, and to serve our students and our community. Some of the families have talked to us about how what the school did offered a great deal of relief, knowing that that food was provided, and it took such a big stress off. So I just wanted to say thank you to every one of them personally and for our community, and that I saw the difference and the hard work. So I just want to say that.
Thank you, Missy. That was very nice and very appreciated. Thank you. Hey, yes, any other board members? Bob?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Bob.
I just want to update the board and the public on our social justice committee coalition. We have been working very hard, and we are meeting, actually, Mr. Bedancy and I are talking to a marketer tomorrow. We did receive a $10,000 grant to market to help people who are in need to be able to get more information about where they can go for help. So it's exciting work we're doing. It doesn't get a lot of publicity out with the public, but they should know that there's a whole bunch of people on this coalition working very hard on a number of initiatives.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Any other board members for communication? Okay, next item is communication from our administration. Mr. Kennellan.
Thank you, Mrs. Carmody. One thing, I thought that through communication, you wanted to do a moment of silence.
Oh my goodness, you know what? My fault.
So we'll flip that back to you, Mrs. Carmody.
Yes, and I can't find it, so hang on. Yes, I missed it. I'll get back to it if you will give me a moment to find it. I lost
good.
it.
So then I'll
push,
I'll push forward. Okay, thank you. Well, thank you, everyone. We have a number of items here, and Mr. Oshana, thank you for saying what you did, and especially a shout out for Michelle Passamano, because she absolutely is the person who made this happen for our families. And I actually have to apologize to her in open meeting, because I feel like I harassed her about every 15 minutes for the past week, but she's the one who made it happen. Absolutely. And of course, congratulations, Mr. Pepe. We're extremely lucky as a community. I said a little bit earlier too, some of our staff that as a 40+ year member of this community and someone who's going to have 5 grandchildren entering the public schools over the course of the next 4 years or so, I couldn't be happier or more confident that our school district is in such good hands with you and with Steve Medancy and the rest of our administrative leadership team. We have a wonderful, wonderful team here, and we have fantastic staff at all levels, teachers, paraeducators, custodial staff, everyone literally just does such an amazing job. But so I wanted to include that. Thank you. A couple of the very quick items. I wanted to let you know that the district does participate in recruiting fairs. And once again, Mrs. Passamano leads that. NEAG School of Education, which is University of Connecticut, is one, and there are various other ones. And there's also the Crack Minority Recruitment Fair. And we've been doing that for a while now. And that's all Michelle. She spearheads that. She asks for volunteers, and we have staff members from various levels who participate in these fairs. It's virtual this year, so we can't do anything on site really, but nonetheless, we're actively out there under Michelle's leadership recruiting for the best people to come and work on behalf of our students and families. Second item is something that I passed on to board members. You know, we have just an amazing music program, and I think you all know that. And once again, Southington was honored with one of the best communities for music education designation from NAMM. That's the National Association of Music Merchants. And if I'm not mistaken, we have won that so many years in a row now that we've lost count. But that's a real tribute to our music department, not just the high schools and the middle schools, all the way through our elementary schools. So it's a wonderful group of folks. So we want to congratulate them openly, and that's a tremendous honor. It's nice that as a school district, we can say that music holds such a special place for so many of our students. And I look forward to beginning to see some in-person music performances next year. A couple of other items. One is that Mrs. Mellon has informed us that Ocean State Job Lot donated PPE items to the school district. Now, the estimated value of that donation is about $24,000. Which was really, really, really nice, really welcome. And it's mostly hand sanitizer, disinfecting wipes, and face shields. So that was really welcome. We appreciate that very much. And Mrs. Mel will be sending a letter of appreciation and thank you on behalf of the board and the school district. The fourth item I have, which I believe I sent to the board as well, our Future Business Leaders of America have students who just placed in all levels of categories at our state leadership conference results. So once again, you know, we had DECA earlier in the year, and FBLA, it's just a tremendous showing. I won't read off all the names, but I believe that we sent that to board members, and we'll certainly have that published in the minutes. And so that's a real tribute not only to our students, but all of our business teachers and Joy Cooney, who's our advisor. So congratulations to all those students, and they still have some competitions coming up. So we'll look for more, I think, in the near future. And the last item I'm going to actually ask Mr. Medancy to address, because it has to do with another donation, very generous donation that we received. So Mr. Medancy, if you will, please.
Thank you, Mr. Pinelli. I'm pleased to report and very thankful for the, as you all know, the support we received from ADNET in the fall with our transition in the technology department, but even more recently, as you know, the times are changing and many spaces are downsizing, and ADNET is taking advantage of that and moving to a new location in Hartford, where they're doing all retrofitting of their offices and really reducing their space exponentially. But with that said, they had a very large office space in Farmington with lots of great lightly and gently used furniture and office equipment that they gave the district first dibs at. And so I was able to go out with Mr. Romano, and it was interesting. It was like being a kid in a candy store. there's just stuff there, lots of stuff that I saw immediate use for. A lot of partitions and office cubicle types of arrangements that are all really high end that I think would look wonderful in the Southington High School teacher's room. As you know, there's a lot of outdated and beat up furniture there that, you know, we've given it a facelift with the flooring and some of the painting, but now we can put some new furniture in there over the summer for the teachers. Conference tables, office desks, file cabinets, flat screen monitors. Mr. Brown, I was thinking of the wall of honor. I just kept grabbing things as anything that it would take. Mr. Cannella got a little worried because we do have it stored in multiple trailers at Southington High School right now, temporarily until the summertime, where we can start to swap things in and out. But you know, a huge thank you to Mr. Romano and the maintenance department. They were up there over multiple days loading these trailers and getting all of this donated furniture that was, like I said, lightly used at best, and really a nice facelift for many areas of our district. And so that's something that we're excited about for sure, and very grateful for. And you know, I told Mr. Luis, as usual, thank you for supporting the district and the school system.
And that is all we have, Mrs. Carmody. It's all we have this evening. Thank you.
And before I get to the students, and I really apologize for my lack of following directions correctly, I'm going to ask for a moment of silence that I forgot to do. The first person that we have this evening is Ada Peterson, who was an elementary teacher at North Center School for 39 years, from 1963 to 2002, and she passed away on April 2nd. We have Shelley Ann Hathaway, who was a hall monitor at Daranowski from 2009 to 2012, and she passed away on March 31st. Thad Weaver, who I worked with, and Bob did. He was a special ed teacher at Southington High School and ended his career at Karen Smith Academy since 2004. He passed away on April 5th. And Pearl R. Bennett, who was a secretary at DePowell Middle School, who passed away on April 18th. And if I could ask you all, please, for a moment of silence, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. All right, next on our agenda is communications from our student reps. I don't know which one or who wants to go first.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi, Brett. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Just fine, thank you.
So to start off tonight, Amrit, Jalissa, and I want to give a massive congratulations to Mr. Pepe for the position of Assistant Superintendent. Amrit, Jalissa, and I started the year with Mr. Pepe, and Amrit and I are ending the year with him, our high school career with him. And it's been an absolute pleasure to receive his guidance, compassion, and vigor. And we're really proud of you, Mr. Pepe. Yeah. So just another yay to Mr. Pepe. So on our agenda for tonight, we're going to start with athletics. So the Southington High School baseball team is currently undefeated with a 3-0 record. The team travels to a professional minor league ballpark in New Britain Stadium to face New Britain High School tomorrow at 6 p.m. Later in the year, their final regular season game, the baseball team will play at Dunkin' Donuts Park, the home of the Hartford Yard Goats minor league team versus Windsor on Wednesday, May 26th at 6:30 p.m. The girls softball team has a record of 2-1 pending the outcome of this afternoon's game at Hull High School. The girls host Bristol Central tomorrow at 3:45 p.m. The boys volleyball team is 2-1 thus far after this week's home opening victory over Simsbury on Monday night. The team is hosting Farmington tonight. The varsity match just started shortly after 6 p.m. and is being live streamed currently, if it hasn't ended already. And they will also be playing Farmington. The SHS girls lacrosse is off to a good start with a 2-1 record after last night's home opening victory against Northwest Catholic. The girls lacrosse team hosts Berlin tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. at Fontana Field. The boys lacrosse team was on a 2-game winning streak until they unfortunately lost 8-7 against Simsbury yesterday, also at Fontana Field, as part of the boys/girls lacrosse home double header. The girls and boys track teams are both 1-1 on their young season after Tuesday's home meet versus Hall High School, where the girls won impressively and the boys fell a bit short against the Warriors. A week ago in the season opening track meet, the boys defeated Glastonbury while the girls team lost to Tomahawks. The next dual meets are Tuesday, April 27th at Conard in West Hartford at 3:45 p.m. So I'll now hand it off to Amrit.
Continuing off sports, the golf team is pending its results this afternoon versus Hall High School at Rockledge Golf Course in West Hartford. It's 0-1 on the season after season opening loss to Avon earlier this week. The SHS boys tennis team is off to an undefeated 4-0 start with their 4th victory over East Catholic on Tuesday in Manchester, and the boys try to resume their unbeaten streak at Farmington tomorrow at 3:45.
The girls' tennis team is also off to a strong start with an undefeated 3-0 record and faces Farmington in its home opener tomorrow at 3:45 at the SHS tennis courts. The boys and girls rugby club teams are underway with their spring schedules, and the middle school and baseball softball teams get underway at JFK and JAD starting next Wednesday, April 28th. In other news, AP testing will begin at the beginning of the month of May and end in the end of May. It will be administered either in person on paper or digital in person. Testing will be held at St. Aloysius Church and at the high school. April break was last week. It was a much needed break for many students, and we are refreshed and ready to finish off the rest of the year strong. On April 27th, there will be an SHS concert for wind and orchestra. On April 28th, there will be an SHS band and symphonic concert. And lastly, on April 29th, there will be a SHS jazz and concert choir. Choir concert, my bad.
All good. And some other news, National Honor Society and World Language Honor Society induction ceremonies are going to be held on the turf on May 11th at 6 p.m. and the rain date is decided for May 12th at 6 p.m. Senior events are still in the process of being planned, so we don't have much information about that just yet. And then scholarship night on May 20th is on May 20th, and the rain date is May 21st at 6 p.m.
So the last agenda item is that the Southern High School Academic Awards Program is Wednesday, May 5th. The rain date is May 6th, and it's at 6 p.m. on Fontana Field. That's all for us tonight. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And enjoy the rest of this year. It's going to by very quickly. Next on our agenda are committee reports. And before I get to that, I would just like to thank all of my fellow board members for all of the really hard work they do in all these committee meetings that they have. No one really knows all the time that is put in for them to go over all the material that they present to us. So my sincere thanks to all of you for all of the hours that you have put in to present to us what we need to know. And first tonight we have policy and personnel, which I believe is Mrs. Clark. And you have a long report.
Thank you, Mrs. Carmody. Well, I'm sure that everybody has looked at it by this point. But our meeting was back on April 6th, and quite honestly, that was so many meetings ago. Mr. Medancy is going to, and Mr. O'Shannon, whoever else was there is going to have to help me with it. But what we discussed, we're bringing forth tonight changes in job descriptions that you have in front of you. Specifically the Director of Business and Finance. We made a change so that the Director of Business and Finance is no longer assigned as the primary representative for negotiations. As we all know, with the pending retirement of our current Director of Business and Finance, we thought this was a good opportunity to shift it over to the Human Resource Manager as well as the Board Attorney, with the Director of Business and Finance being in more of a supporting role with the financial information that's needed. So that's one change with that with that position. The accounting manager, we made some minor language updates for that job description. The library media specialist, we have not reviewed or revised this since 1996. So that is why it is up in front of you to reflect the changes in the job. The production secretary, again, with the recent retirement, we reviewed and revised the job. Now, the next jobs that we are bringing forth, the associate athletic director, we made one proposed change in it with asking for the requirement of an 092 certification because of the supervisory responsibilities that go along with that job. The next three jobs have no impact to the operating budget if they are approved. The jobs are the elementary science specialist. Because of the pandemic and the changes, we lost momentum with the pandemic. Rather than having the hands-on approach that we had, we have gone back to a more traditional mode. So the goal of the science specialist is to be able to work closely with the teachers to return to the shifts made prior to the pandemic. And again, Mr. Medancy, correct me if I'm wrong, these will be coming from the ESSER funds that we are getting? Yes. So it's no impact to our budget. The second job is the interventionist in the elementary schools. Will allow a certified staff member to work to support the increased levels of academic need among students emerging from the pandemic. This position is geared towards academic support requirement associated with the ESSER II grant. So again, another job, there will be no impact on the operating budget if we approve it. The third job is the world language specialist, and we need to offer further supervision, support, and leadership across the world language department in the district. And it is similar, it's going to mirror the current position associated with the music department. This position can be funded using Title II funds, and it is a stipend position. So again, no impact to the operating budget. And lastly, what we discussed at the meeting was policy revisions that you will be getting tonight as a first read. Policy 3281, Code of Conduct, Child Nutrition Programs Revision, Policy 3320, Purchasing Procedures Revision. And these are all based on things that we need to add, delete according to advice from Shipman and Goodwin. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Colleen, and thank you to your committee. There was a lot of work on that. I'm sure it was a very long meeting, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
I can't remember, Mrs. Carmody.
You can't remember, okay. Any questions? Do I see any hands? All right, next on our agenda is curriculum and instruction. And Bob, you can tell everyone that the meeting was quick because I wasn't there.
Actually, there was a comment made about that, but the meeting was still pretty long.
I just want to know that somebody said something about that. Go ahead.
Yes, I will acknowledge that was said. I'm going to run through this. It was a long meeting, a lengthy report, but much of this is informational and doesn't require action, but I'll point out to you what we're doing here. It's also nice to know that most of what we're going to talk about here is at very minimal cost to the district, and I'll explain that as I go. I'd like to thank Missy for her attendance at the meeting and her positive input. She's very helpful. And also Steve, in his outgoing roles, did a great job, as he always has. And the teachers and administrators who also attended. A lot of work has gone into these things. So I'll go as fast as I can. We started off with Mandarin. We are now looking at Mandarin 2, 3, and 4. As you might know, we have Mandarin 1. This will not cost money to expand because of the class sizes and the ability to have the current teachers still teach these courses. This is an exciting offering. It really is, that we can offer this program in our town. Second is the African and Caribbean Studies. I'm sorry, that on the Mandarin, there is a curriculum that you should look at, and we will be voting on that, so you should read that. It's one of the few things we'll take action on at the next meeting. Next is the African and Caribbean Studies in French. This is extraordinary what we offer here. This does not require any action. We've already approved this, but now there's going to be UConn credit attached to that course. We are very fortunate to have the instructor and the course and offer something that very few places can offer. Also Italian, we are adding some college credit to conversation and composition. Again, no action is required. It's not a curriculum change. I will say Mrs. Riccio, and I hate to start naming people because I'll forget somebody, but what an extraordinary gift she is to this district. Next, we did credit recovery, and Frank talked about this with, again, there's no action, but they are putting together a program, or have been working on a program. The idea is to kind of examine who needs help and how we can help before we get to the summer. That way we don't have a bunch of people in the summer scrambling. I believe the number is about 3 times the number of people, and I could be wrong, who are showing failing grades than before, which certainly is understandable with COVID, but still is an issue we need to be able to address. So they have been creating modules, and Frank was very, I was going to use a big word, but he was very glowing in his compliments of the teachers who stepped forward to help to write curriculum and modules. We are going to be able to use some ESSER II funds to pay for this, so this will not be something that is added to the board budget. And plus, as Frank pointed out to us, we're now going to create some curriculum materials that can be used in the future for credit recovery, et cetera, which is a wonderful thing. Next, we got an update from Diane Holtz-Gruby and from Frank Pepe about the capstone. Capstone is here, it is coming. And there is a link in the agendas to go and read more detail about this. But one of the issues with capstone, of course, is that with COVID, it probably hasn't had the introduction it would have had otherwise. And that is something they are addressing. I was thrilled to read the plans they have for the capstone. Very useful, tying it in with the vision of a graduate, et cetera. And also having students produce ongoing work and portfolios. Again, we can go on for quite a while on that. No action is needed on that one also. We had a presentation from Rebecca Migliero about the English department, junior essay writing, tying that into the process of applying to colleges, doing more connection with college admission offices and helping students to do a better job writing as they write their essays. And also for those students who are not planning to go to college, working on their spoken and written skills needed for career readiness. Again, no actions needed on that, but it's great work they're doing. Next is the food service certification. We had a discussion with Diane Holtz-Gruby and Mary Lynn Osborne. They are connecting with local restaurants to ensure that our students can receive certification in area restaurants in both food handling and manager certification. Wonderful connection with our community and very useful work. There is Perkins grant money, which will help pay for that. So again, we're not looking at action and we're not looking at cost. Next is the civics unit in grades 5, which we had a presentation from Stephanie Lawler and Josie Regala, doing work tying, and I won't go into detail here. There's no action needed, I don't believe, although my minutes don't reflect. Anyway, the minutes don't reflect that. They attended a workshop. It was Black History is American History Institute with 27 Southington teachers, which is quite impressive. And the work they are doing, one of my takeaways from this is we shouldn't just focus on slavery and civil rights as a Black history issue. There are so many other contributions that people make, and that I think is one of their intentions, to look at real life people who are not just involved with that narrower look at contributions. Next, we had a presentation by Sue Vinkevich. Again, this is informational. They are going to pilot a program to create a period, which a block period, I won't read the whole long list of things they want to do with it, but it's basically to give them time to do some things that were being done. But in some cases, people were pulled out of classes or there wasn't time in the schedule to do it. It sounds great. And as someone who did start a long time ago at Kennedy, I knew that there were students pulled out of class then, and it's still going on just because of the schedules that they're tied into. So our committee felt we should move forward with that, but they should report back to us after a year to see how the pilot went. And that's the end of my report. I would be glad to answer questions. Terrific work by both the committee and by the teachers and administrators involved. And I did see Colleen's hand up.
Yeah, I just had one comment, Bob. The essay writing, excuse me. I love the idea of real life skills, not only for students going to college, but students going out into the business world and for career readiness. I think that is so very important. And I'm very glad that we're focusing not only on the college, because that is needed, but also for the real world skills that students are going to need for the business. So
They
hats
did
off
some great
to,
work on that. Yes.
yeah.
English department for that. Yep.
Well,
that was my only comment.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's very true.
well,
Is there anything else? I see Dave. Yeah.
Bob and Missy, Dave, I'm sorry, you had a question.
Yeah, Bob, you mentioned a lot of these initiatives are going to be funded with the ESSER II grant. Is that a one-year grant, or what's the concern I have is that we're initiating these programs with a grant and we put it in for a year, and if the grant doesn't carry on for multiple years, is that something that we're going to have to fund, or is the program
Well,
disappear?
I can give you my version of an answer, then I'll let either Sherry or Steve or someone perhaps correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that reference was mostly to the credit recovery work that we did. And that's not something we hopefully have to do in the future. Plus, once we've created the curricula, we can use what we've created and not have to go back and reinvent the wheel. So most of the other things I referred to that were not from ESSER, from those funds. I know the foreign language things were not going to cost just because we have staff already in place to do those things. And most of the other ones were simply informational. But Steve or Sherry, if I'm wrong about that.
You hit it on the head. The only piece that we discussed that was relying on ESSER II funding was the credit recovery modules.
Okay.
And that is a requirement that is associated with the use of the ESSER II funds to address learning loss during their pandemic. And so this is one of the strategies that the high school is employing so that hopefully we can significantly reduce the amount of students that could fail because of some of the hardships that are associated with trying to school during the pandemic.
Okay, very good.
Anything else?
Dave, you okay with that? Anyone?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So Missy and Bob, thank you so very much for a great meeting. And and everyone that was involved. And I'm sure that I know the teachers did a good job.
Tremendous.
And I know you did not miss me. So thank you very much.
We
we always miss you.
We just noted that the agenda stayed on time.
Anyway, that's okay. I don't like that laugh, but I'm going on. The next on our agenda is our personnel report. May I have a motion?
So moved.
All those in favor of the personnel?
Second.
report? And so I thank,
Aye.
Aye.
any opposed?
There was one other committee report, correct? Is it the
Yes.
item 9C?
But there's no it's on
no
there.
report.
It's on there, the elementary facilities committee report.
There
But
was,
we don't have a report, but I can announce that we are having a meeting on the 27th at 4:00. So that's the only update that I would have.
you're going to report on the 27th, Colleen?
Our next meeting is the 27th. the next committee meeting.
All right. So now we did approve the personnel report. Is that correct?
Can I ask who was the one that made the motion?
I did.
Dave? Okay.
It was seconded by
I
Zaya.
think I did after the vote.
Bob?
Bob did the second. And then I said aye for the whole team. So we're
Okay,
good.
Okay, good.
And Michelle, we thank you for all the work that you and your staff does on a personnel report. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda, town government communications. I have an appointment of a representative on the town cable advisory council. And the name that was given to me was Jacob Gorski. Questions, discussions, Mr. O'Shannell?
Yes, so who is that?
I have no idea.
Is Jacob Gorski associated with the school system?
I do not believe so. I was, go ahead, Mr. Canella.
I'm just going to say, let's roll it back for a little history. Back when the last election for this board, there was an organizational meeting and committees were proposed and various and sundry positions. One of them that the board chair needs to do, one of them was this position that formerly had been Rick Campbell, and Rick Campbell did not have, and Rick Campbell is a person who works at our high school, is now a tech analyst, right? Rick Campbell was no longer interested in doing it, and Mrs. Carmody asked if any board member was interested in doing that. And at that time, there were no takers, so that position has remained open. Now, I would be remiss if I did not say the only information that I have on this particular organizational structure came from Rick Campbell. I really do not know what that committee does. That's
So
it.
I know, I know for years and years, there's been, I think if it's a board appointment, it should be someone through the Board of Education. I know for many, many years, Mr. Leonard Marchicelli served on this committee. And I think he was a Board of Education member at the time. And I know Mr. Marchicelli was quite vocal about the Cable Advisory Committee. And he did a great job on it. And I'm sure Mr. Campbell, based on his position and the scope of his role, was fantastic at that too. Since this person, and I'm not sure who it is, it's probably a good person. I don't know who they are, but I think I'd like to make a motion to table this until we have some further discussion and see if we can get a member either of our board or somebody in the school system to if they're interested in this position. So I'd like to make a motion to table.
Second.
All those in favor of tabling this?
Aye.
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 So the motion is tabled. I will, I don't know where I go from here with this. Is there any board member that would be interested in serving on this?
Well, I think that the tabling just what we essentially find a little bit more about Mr. Gorski and learn more, or is that what you meant?
Yeah,
He may be suitable. We just don't know.
We don't
We
know.
don't know.
You know what the committee does, Joe. Do you know what I mean? I don't anyways, but Dave?
Can I offer a suggestion?
Of course.
If rather than trying to find somebody right now to fill that spot, we've gotten from now until the next board meeting or the next time when the agenda is put together, if anybody is interested or anybody that's within the system that someone may know would be willing to participate in that, rather than do it right now. We got plenty of time.
Yeah, I didn't mean we had to do it right now.
We should also check out the person being, we don't know that the person's not qualified, so.
So my other question is, it seems like we don't know exactly what the committee does either. So could we essentially have something maybe emailed to us about the role of the cable committee? And
Joe, good idea. And I guess it would be up to me to call the town council, because it is one of their committees. Am I right, Mr. Kinnell? It's a town council committee?
As far as I know, yes.
So I should probably call the chairperson of the town council and get an answer.
Appropriate.
Or
We
If
can-
I'm not mistaken, this is an appointment by the Board of Education, right? They're asking for a
That's
member
what I
of
was
an
told.
appointment. It doesn't have to be a member of the board, but an appointment from the board, which I
Right.
From the
assume
board.
is to represent represent the board on that committee or the board's
Yes.
Correct,
purview on that committee.
correct.
So
If you would like, I can ask the town manager to provide a description of the role of that council, or the charge of that council, and the possible activities, and be able to get that to board members.
I would really appreciate that because I really don't have any knowledge on it. I was just asked to put that name down as a nomination, so I appreciate that. So that will be tabled and we will get information out to you in the future. Moving on to new business. The adoption of the 2022 Board of Education meeting dates.
Yeah, move to adopt the 2022 Board of Education meeting dates as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any questions? No, we're all did that. Okay. Next is approval of job descriptions. We need motions for these, correct, Colleen?
Yep.
Yes,
Um,
yes, we do.
Move that the Board of Education approve the draft job descriptions as recommended by the Policy and Personnel Committee.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Go ahead, please. Next would be, do we need motions for these two? Colleen?
No,
No,
no, these are just the first reads. So if anyone has any questions regarding these policies, please reach out to Steve or myself.
Okay. So that goes for the purchasing procedures also. Letter E is the Southington High School Mandarin 2, 3, and 4th course proposal. First reading on that. How about the healthy food certifications? Do we need motions on that? Yes.
That is Mrs. Danello's favorite topic.
Okay.
Oh, heavens.
Someone
We
make,
actually need two motions and we need them read into the minutes as stated on the cover sheet. And both motions are on the cover sheet for agenda item 12F.
okay, well, I don't have that right.
Would you like me to read one of them?
Why
I'll
don't?
read
And
one
Mr.
too, yeah.
O'Shana can read the other, or somebody can read the other? Okay, so the motion reads as follows. Pursuant to Connecticut General Statute, Section 10-215F, the Board of Education certifies that all food items offered for sale to students in the schools under its jurisdiction and not exempted from the Connecticut nutrition standards published by the Connecticut State Department of Education will comply with the Connecticut nutrition standards during the period of July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. The certification shall include all food offered for sale to students separately from reimbursable meals at all times and from all sources, including but not limited to school stores, vending machines, school cafeterias, culinary programs, and any fundraising activities on the school premises sponsored by the school or non-school organizations and groups.
second,
What a good job, you all. Joe, you have a question? Is
Yeah,
your-
I just had a quick question. So with this particular food certification, so does this result in us procuring state funds or reimbursement, or how does that work? Because this is more of like a Connecticut one versus a national one, right? Sherry?
Yes, however, basically it pretty much mirrors now the national guidelines as well. So in order to be eligible to get the reimbursement for our meals, the reimbursement for the federal reimbursement meets these guidelines, and then there's additional money by following it through the state.
Okay.
So we had a motion. Did I get a second on that motion?
Yes.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great job reading it. Colleen, read the next one, or do you have it? I'm
I
sorry.
got it.
All right,
Well, we
thank you,
did,
my
this is
dear.
what we had to revise, so
right.
I'm on a roll with these. Okay, the
Great
motion
job.
reads as follows. The Board of Education or governing authority will allow the sale to students of food items that do not meet the Connecticut nutrition standards and beverages not listed in section 10-221Q of the Connecticut General Statutes, provided that the following conditions are met. 1, the sale is in connection with an event occurring after the end of the regular school day or on a weekend. 2, the sale is at the location of the event. And 3, the food and beverage items are not sold from a vending machine or school store. An event is an occurrence that involves more than just regularly scheduled practice, meeting, or extracurricular activity. For example, soccer games, school plays, and interscholastic debates are events, but soccer practices, play rehearsals, and debate team meetings are not. The regular school day is the period from midnight before to 30 minutes after the end of the official school day. Location means where the event is being held.
Second.
Very good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Ahoy.
Any opposed? Thank you so much, Colleen, for reading that and doing such a good job on it.
Great
Thank you,
job,
Mrs. Harmon.
Colleen.
Yes,
Good
you
job.
Thank you, Mr. Brzezowski.
Great.
did. I think Mr. Darrenowski
Move
has,
to adjourn.
Oh, whoa, do we have to go
Second.
back into,
Yes.
Yes, so use the other link. I'll go over and open that one right now.
oh, I'll
Okay.
never be able to do this, Steve. No. We got to go back to the executive session.
Congratulations.
hi, Linda, have a great evening.
We have to
Linda.
adjourn.
Congratulations.
Table.
Congratulations again.
We have to
Well done.
adjourn.
We have a motion on the table.
We have to
And I'll
adjourn.
second that.
And all those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
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 Aye, oi.
Frank, go down.
We can adjourn.
Wait a minute,
We're not adjourned.
you're getting way ahead of yourself here. I made a motion to adjourn.
Yeah,
Zaya just seconded it and everybody just agreed to it.
Move to table.
Unbelievable.
Move to table the next meeting. We're gonna stay in session for 7 days.
It's
It's
too
gonna be
late.
great.
Excuse me. What you can do is have another motion to resume executive session, because Mr. Darrenowski is right. There was a motion, it was seconded, it was approved. It's easy enough to make another motion to go into executive session and go from there.
Move to go
Move
into.
to
you,
go
Mr.
into
Cannella.
executive session.
We
Second.
got to keep this above board here.
That's correct, Mr. Darrenowski.
And Mrs. Carpenter, we have all the confidence in the world that you'll be able to log back into that
I
other
won't.
session.
I'll tell you right now, but I'll try. I'll do my best.
Okay, now just to back up, Colleen, Mrs. Clark made a motion. I seconded it.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
We need to,
All in favor?
all in favor?
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm opposed.
So am I.
Just kidding.
Be quiet.
Roll call.
Carries. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Just kidding, Linda, just kidding.
All right, so I'm going to.
Linda, I'll get it all to you.
All right, thanks, Colleen.
You're welcome.
Linda, do you have
She
everything
writes
down
notes.
or did I confuse you, Linda?
No, I have it all. Yeah, I have it all. It's under
You
control.
got it?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, good night to the rest of you. And thank you all for being here. I'm going to try to get off and get back on, but this